Jethmalani, the Chief Justice of India recuses. It's his right. The report is clear on the burnt cash investigation, but somewhere in the middle of it, we've just forgotten the fact that as far as prosecution is concerned, there is no case against Justice Yashwant Varma. There is no case. So he's going to get away scot-free, just lose his chair, but he will never face a criminal or police investigation. Why is that?
But as far as prosecution is concerned, the Supreme Court in 1991 assumed to itself that the constitutional mandate of the president being the authority to sanction the prosecution of a judge was not adequate protection for a judge, and it required the consent of the Chief Justice of India. Now, that case actually dealt with a sanction for prosecution. That was the issue before the court. Now, not only did they interpret that the sanction for a prosecution of a judge should have been, it should be with the consent of the Chief Justice of India, a High Court judge or a Supreme Court judge, that is. But they went a stage further and they said that even an FIR, that is the starting point of an investigation, cannot be initiated without the sanction of the Chief Justice of India. So they assume powers, not only that a five-judge bench assume powers, not only to decide when a judge should be given sanction for prosecution, that is only on the say-so of the Chief Justice, in effect, of India, right? But even the very initiation, the discovery of evidence, right, should be at the behest of the Chief Justice. He should be in control of the entire issue. Now, what has happened is, to be fair, the Chief Justice then, when this took place, and this is now 5 months without not even an investigation being started, forget prosecution, that's a long way down the road. Not even an investigation since that fateful day in March, but the then Chief Justice Khanna ordered a 3-judge inquiry to fortify himself about the final verdict or what the evidence established. He had this 3-judge inquiry. That 3-judge inquiry report came after a couple of months, and it was unanimous. It was not only unanimous, it was stinging, right? That should have been the end of the matter. Now, as you pointed out, impeachment is for removal of a judge from office. It has nothing to do with prosecution. Prosecution, as per Veeraswamy's case, right, and investigation, which is much prior to prosecution, is squarely in the hands of the judiciary, right? Now, we all praise Dr. Ambedkar. My late father swore by him and said he was a legal giant. He was one of the moving spirits behind our constitution, right? I ask every judge, right? And I'm a great admirer of Dr. Ambedkar. I think he was a lawyer and a legal genius par excellence, right? He infused the Constitution with constitutional values of the highest order. I ask every judge, High Court and Supreme Court judge, right? What would Dr. Ambedkar have done were he responsible for the prosecution or investigation of a judge like Justice Varma in a similar situation? And you get your answer from there. I have no doubt that the sanction, the investigation would have been sanctioned on this evidence, particularly after fortified by a thorough searching inquiry of 3 judges appointed by the Chief Justice of India. I have no doubt that the prosecution, the sanction for the investigation and prosecution of a judge, now by law established by the Supreme Court, rests squarely in the hands of the Supreme Court and in particular the Chief Justice himself, right? I say that Dr. Ambedkar, were he the Chief Justice of India today, would have sanctioned that investigation, right? I think that already legislative processes for removal from office, legislative processes are already getting undermined. It's now overshadowed by
politics.
Vice President's resignation, and people have now politicized the Vice President's office. That's what happens when you leave
the moot question is, Mr.
Yes.
Jethmalani.
Yes.
why can't there be two processes? There people are saying, aren't you happy there's an impeachment motion in Parliament? I say I'm not happy because it does not overrule the fundamental need for a criminal accountability. Is the judiciary trying to avoid external scrutiny through a criminal accountability process? And are the politicians also willy-nilly, knowingly allowing it?
Arnab, I don't think they're allowing it. I don't think I can ascribe motives to the judiciary, but I will say this, and it may not be a popular view. I will say that the judiciary is just too slow to react in this matter.
Yeah. Too slow to react? But does that make people confident watching this? You see, isn't it a betrayal of public trust when you have so much evidence against this man? And if tomorrow somebody being sent to jail for a petty offense says, Mr. Jethmalani, can you explain to me why I am going to jail and Yashwant Varma did not even face an FIR, then what will the system tell that person?
Well, I mean, that is the inevitable fallout of this kind of delay. That, people would rather now, if this kind of action is permissible, if Justice Varma is allowed to have so much time at his disposal to avoid an investigation because of judicial and other inertia within our institutions, then people are going to say, why don't we just become judges who wants to become a lawyer?
Yes, so this creates a system of privilege. Judges are privileged in every way. Even if they commit a crime, they'll be sort of made semi-immune from the process.
That is the perception today.
But then we want to remove judicial corruption. How will we?
In the corridors of the bars, right, of this country, that is the perception. People are mealy-mouthed to come out in the open, right? Because everybody practices before judges and they're scared of the fallout on their personal...
Why is Mahesh Jethmalani not scared?
I'm not scared because I think that if somebody doesn't make a stand for this, if somebody doesn't stand up with these overwhelming circumstances, we've lost. The judiciary forever will be rooted in corruption.
Okay. I'm glad you're speaking up. That's like a chip off the old block. You remind me of your dad, who we have all loved. I thank you so much, Mahesh Jethmalani, for joining me this evening. That's great. I'm so happy people like him are talking about why there's no FIR.